Hello everyone, this is TechStack here. Hey, let's get in Discord. I didn't get Discord yet. There! Whoa, that's freaky. I didn't click that, but it put me in Discord. Okay, so since last night, I put some extra polish and stuff, and I want to show that off. And then we'll get into tonight's topics, which are improving the AI slightly. From my testing, I have noticed two things. One of them I've already fixed, and that may be what this is really about. Let's go ahead and disable breakpoints for a moment. Hey Tinkerbell! Tinkerbell, you're on a roll, being first. Awesome. Let's get off into some open area where I can start placing down town halls. Town hall blocks. I noticed the AI was behaving a little funny last night when we were streaming, as far as it would take a long time for them to get to the target blocks. So I'll explain that and show off this at the same time. That is not the right thing. We want the other town hall. So we actually don't want to place the block ever anymore. We want to place, or right click with the builder in our hand, which is actually an item. Okay, so this is the town hall, right? As we described last night, when we attack these, they start to take damage on the building, right? It is tracked in that tile entity up there that's all purple and black. And one more. And okay, I guess that's half, so we need to go one more past half. Boom. You'll see that the building now looks a little different, right? It's all damaged. It's starting to smoke from the campfires that are placed in there. And we can keep damaging it more and more. And eventually, it's going to go into a rubble state, right? Because the building is destroyed. There we go. It's in rubble. This destroyed building still has its tile entity here. And that tile entity is behaving in such a way that it is keeping track of how long that this rubble's been here. And after a set amount of time, it will clean up after itself, right? So this rubble will no longer exist after a little bit. And it should be right about maybe now. I think I set it to 30 seconds if it's still working. And that 30 seconds will likely change. I just put it to something that's reasonable so I can test out. And there you go. Rubble's gone, so you can build again. Makes it so you have that nice little animation of it being rubble. We'll probably make that longer, like I said. Just depends. We'll put it in a config and make it as long as we need it to be. So the next thing, these the barracks. That's a barracks. Awesome. Let's get a guy spawned in. If we summon one of those blocks, the target blocks, summon TSRTS target entity, you will now find that this guy walks straight to them without stopping. Last night he would walk partway, stop, partway, stop, partway, stop, over and over and over again. I found out that basically the way his AI was behaving was he was constantly checking for other things he should be targeting, find me as a player, then cancel trying to go to me. But when he found me as a player, as something he could target, he wasn't looking at the teams, right? So that stopped him in his tracks on his way to that block. So he was just constantly changing his targets between me as a player and that block, so he never got to the block in time. Now the way it's set up, he should always not target a player that's on his team. So that should resolve it. We'll see how it acts when there's what's the word? The enemy's player that's there. I'm not sure. That's something I'll have to come out and testing if he was going to go back and forth about that. I'm kind of okay if he were to target the player in those situations. Now, he's green. He should be going for it. See, he's doing it again. Reason why? I'm a player. He's trying to target me, but I'm not on a team. I'm not on his team, so he's trying to target me again. That's partially because I'm in creative. If I were not in creative, he wouldn't be doing this. All right, so let's actually game mode. Spectator. Yeah, see, they go right towards it because they can't target me at all when I'm in spectator mode. So that's what's going on. They're just trying to target me in creative, and then their AI system says, "Wait a minute, he's on our team, or he's not on our team, or he's in creative. I can't actually target him," and it stops. So It's a glitch just for me being in creative. And again, if I were on their team, they wouldn't do it at all. But then they wouldn't attack the red blocks, would they? So now the next piece that I want to try and fix in their AI, which is also very important, I think, because of what's happening right now. They can certainly get to this block, but these blocks here are actually blocking their vision to that block there. So they're not trying to get to it. If I were to go out of this mode, back into creative so I can interact with these guys a little bit and bump them out, okay, and then go back in spectator mode, I'm assuming, yep, he's going to go right for the block. So he needs line of sight the way he's set up right now. The check for line of sight seems to be a little bit weird because there is, let's go into the code here. In the main entity itself for the minion, right here, we've got this third parameter, which if we were to ask Eclipse nicely, it might be able to tell us, okay, it's just a Boolean, right? So that Boolean, the third one, is this one. That is passed as the third one there. Boom. Third one here is this one, which is that one, right after the integer. Right after the integer here goes to here, and in the superclass here, it's the second parameter. The second parameter is check site. So we're actually saying don't check the site, but he's checking the site. So I think the only way around this, and it's going to take me a minute to find it again, but there's this piece, where is it? This piece here calls the get closest entity. Get closest entity runs this check, but it's got a predicate in here. And I've been trying to figure out what predicates are, and I'm starting to get the grasp of what they are. But I think we need to define this predicate differently. It's saying can target the living entity. If we look up the entity predicates can target, it does all of this, right? Which we do know happens. The can attack stuff was part of what I was using to fix it. This part requires line of sight on this. This in this instance is the predicate. This predicate says required line of sight would be false by default, right? Am I reading that right? It should be true by default. By a second. I might have just thrown a loop for what I was going to fix. So Java Boolean default value if null. The default Booleans for a Boolean is null. The default value for a Boolean primitive is false. So it would be false by default. So that is okay then. So with that being false, this section of this thing can return true, which makes it then check the attacker if it's a mob, and it would be a mob in this case. And if it's a mob, then it can go to the entity senses and checks to see to target. So remember I was saying that see the target was the issue. So we need to flip the value of this to be true, which would make this part not evaluate true because it says not in front of it with that exclamation point. And it would return true in this whole thing, meaning that it can target it. So with all of that said, I need to create a predicate that returns line of sight true, which means I need to call this on it. Hey, CZ. So how do we achieve that? If I back up in this, we're getting entity predicate, which is parameter 2 there, right? Or yeah, 2 there. Let's actually just go through this backwards. So we were there, our predicate null. So it is not passing any predicate in to this. Right? 1, 2. No, this is our predicate. Okay? And that was called where? We might have to start at the top again. And by top, I mean the place that we started at. Let me go back here. Oh, there we go. We're going through it now. Entity, minion. Let's go into this one. Okay, then we go into this one. Then that one goes into this one. And this one calls super. And in the super, that's where check site is set. Okay. But we have this predicate also being passed in. Right there. So that last parameter. So it gets a null predicate living entity. Huh. I think I can do this by setting that by calling this method signature instead. So all that said, we need to figure out what these parameters should be. So back on our minion, instead of calling it this way with just 3 parameters, we're going to call it with all of those. So we're going to do new, just like that. And then it's going to be those. Get rid of the mob name is going to be mob. Is going to be this. The class that we're trying to get is going to be target entity class. The integer was 10 by default. I do remember that. And if I can type the word class, that would help. And hey, CZ, I can't remember if I said hey or not. Sorry if I didn't. This is whether or not they should see. Hey, Fire.
Hello.
And if I remember correctly, that one was going to get set to what? I think it's this one. That's the third. 1, 2, 3. Yes. 1, 2, 3. I have one after the digits. It's that one. So it's going to get to whatever we had there. So right now, CZ, the mob, the minions, if they don't see the block, they don't go to it. So these things here are actually stopping his line of sight from seeing that entity. So he's not trying to go to it to kill it. I'm trying to make it so that they don't have to have line of sight. They will still go to it. Because in my mind, if they can see this building, they should know to go kill all those spots. Right? So it's kind of hard for them not to see the building, so I'm just going to ignore line of sight for that entity only. They'll still have to have line of sight for other minions and players, but just that. False. Okay, and then the fourth parameter is what? It's this value. That value gets set to false as well. False. Okay. Now, if I can do this piece, we want to create a new entity predicate, I believe. Let's do call hierarchy on this. And we should see that is defined as an entity predicate. Okay, so we can define our own entity predicate as something. After I get this working, assuming I can get it working, we are going to what's the word? We're going to work on the startup screen. So when you first log on to a server, if there's no game running yet, it needs to send you a GUI so that you can choose your team. And everyone else can join the server at the same time, and then when they're all on the server and everyone's ready, like they have to ready up and everything, you click a button and it starts the game, right? So we got to figure out how to handle all of that. I think probably we would want an opt click start game, or at least make it a config option to allow that, because we wouldn't want it to be something where you're ready, I'm ready, so we just click start, and then Fiery was the op of the server and wanted to join too, or something, right? Or wanted to have 3 more people join. Why'd I start so late? This is actually the time I try to stream for. I try to stream from 8 to 9 Eastern, but sometimes I get things done early and can start early, and that's been happening more lately. But even then, sometimes it's hard for me to start at 8. So I'm going to move this out of here. We're going to put this up the top. We're going to give it a different name because we don't want to dry target blah blah blah. What's the word I want to look for?
I don't know. You're the one thinking of it.
Vision not required. And boop. We can just return true, I believe. Okay, and yes, we're gonna have to terminate. And on that predicate, I believe when we create this, we can say this dot set. Come on. No, it's not there. Okay. Probably because it's not an entity predicate. This one. Get rid of this part of it, I think, as well. Could you make the game start by creating a command? Then we can just handle all with command blocks on a dev server, polish it up, and add more later. Create your own command. I'm not sure how to create a command in Forge after all of this time. I've tried a couple times, and it's been difficult, to say the least. Like, it's not straightforward. And it's not as friendly for people to join, because what if Fiery and Gazer specifically wanted to be on a team together? They gotta start typing commands to do that? What if they don't have access to the commands? Etc. Remove type arguments. Okay. And this isn't valid anymore? What? Equals new. Entity predicate. Dot. Need something about visibility. Line of sight required. Boom. Okay, and then this isn't needed anymore. And we just need to be sure the vanilla team, right? We can do all the stuff the same stuff we did for Vanilla Death Cube. I want this to be a thing that you can just throw it on any world and it works though, right? So that means when you throw it in the world and start up the server needs to create 4 teams. One named green, one named blue, one red, one named yellow. And they have to be specific to those names. That's why I want to do it that way, because if they're named anything else, it's going to start crashing.
Oh, I can't have Team Fiery?
Nope. Sorry. Heck, what is this airing off for? Come on. Nope, we need another parenthesis, don't we? Give me more space to type, please. This is a long line. It doesn't like it. Cannot infer arguments for nearest enemy target. Yeah. But for dev, it is worth working out now. Maybe you're right. It is because it'll make it simpler in the long run. The sooner we do it, A, we can test it, and B, we won't have to fiddle with a bunch of setup every time we try and play a game. And if the game crashes or whatever, or we want to reset it, it's quicker to reset. Yeah, we found out it's not. It's in a different version of it. It's not released yet. I bet it's because of that predicate piece. There's no signature that takes a entity predicate, just one that takes a predicate with a living entity. That does create a predicate. It's target entity selector, which is protected and non-modifiable, and that's what's used there on this, which is the second one. We need to get that passed into this thing somehow. Set custom predicate, which is this. Oh, it takes that. Okay. Custom predicate. That's not used for this, though. Interesting. So we need to intercept this version. Okay, so we're going route B. I didn't want to have to do route B, but we're going to have to do route B. We're going to create a brand new class for the AI. And we're going to override one of the methods, and it's going to extend this class. Oop. Create class. It shall extend this. Nearest attackable vision not required target. Did you make some of the textures of the machinery mod in Paint? No. I used Photoshop.
I'm back again.
I'm back again. It's calling super, and super has a reference to this. But I think we can say this equals this dot line of sight required. Ta-da. I think this might work. It might not too. I'm kind of getting a little bit fuzzy on how this is going to work. So let's change this to that and run it. Remove arguments. We need to add this to it. Okay, now you happy? Can it infer argument types for blah 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 blah? So we add another constructor with 3 parameters. I don't want to have to do all that code. I just wanted to keep it simple. That's why I only did one of them. Yep, okay. We need these two. But it doesn't have any 114 features. Not sure what you mean by that, man. And now it's happening. Cool. Let's run it, see what happens. Okay, I didn't use Nova Skin either. I used Photoshop for the machinery mod. It's kind of like Paint, but on steroids. There we go. They're going for it, even though they don't have line of sight. Perfect. That's how they should behave, right? They should know that's a building there, and they need to go around the whole thing and kill all of them. Okay, and it's not gonna crumble. That's a bug with saving MBT data, so that's no big deal. Why do I not have a hotbar? Right. So, with that said, let's spawn this building here as me. And let's kill our spectator, or go kill our creative mode so these guys can move. And they immediately start running for them, which is awesome. This is what I need to record for Reddit once we get that texture fixed. They're walking right on around the building, going for them. It's taking damage. And it completely destroys. Oh, and killed some of them. So that's a thing, CZ. Apparently, these blocks came out to where there was no blocks before. I put the spires there. And if we wait long enough, CZ, you'll see what happens. There we go. The building just cleans up after itself. Now, I set it to 30 seconds right now, being fully aware that that's probably way too fast. But I wanted to be able to test it without having to wait too long. So that's completely working the way I want it. You know, there's obviously bugs in places with these guys being on wrong teams and stuff, but eh. The part I was going for is fixed. Cool. Let's make a commitment to GitHub. You being quiet, Fire? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Nice. Despawn should be an attribute of each structure, in my opinion. So you're saying a town hall might have a different timer than a barracks? It's possible to do. I still think it should be in the config though, so that if you set up a server and you wanted it 5 minutes and I set up a server and I wanted it 10 seconds, we can do that. I think all of those type of time attributes, all of those type of economy attributes, all of that stuff that makes up things we'll constantly be tweaking to get the bounce just right should all be in the config. I don't want them to be hard coded at all. Okay, now we'll walk around the buildings to kill all the target blocks. Awesome. Push that up to GitHub. Now, next, this GUI screen. I think it should be configurable, but each control point type should be configurable independently. It sounds like you already agree. I'm not sure that we'll necessarily mess with the timer of the despawnings as much as we will other stuff, but if I'm already in putting a config, what's the difference if I put 3 extra in there? It's just 3 more numbers, right? 1 or 10, right? 1 for each building, or just 1 overall. It doesn't make a difference to me, really. Let's see. We want a 256 by 256. We'll call it GUI for now because we don't have a better name. We will let Photoshop finally open the file. We're going to grab a nice gray from Photoshop and just plop it in here. And this is our texture for now. So save as. YouTube, that's the wrong folder. We want to go to code. Minecraft. Machine. Nope, not machine mod. This one. Sources. Main. Resources, assets, TSRTS, textures, GUI. Not overlay, just GUI. Make it to a PNG. Cool. Okay. Added a compact pork chop. I have no idea what you're talking about. That's not for my mod. Boop, boop. And refresh. Okay, now we need to add the actual GUI screen component and container. So in there, and I think we probably have an initialization for them for the container portion of it. Okay, and then does a proxy have anything? It does. So those are the 3 places we need to set things up. Or 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So let's start with the container because why not? We will copy, and we'll call this lobby actually, I think. A container barracks. Okay, so we need to go right into containers then. And copy one of these. Go into the registry name file. Come on. References. It's for a container, but it's got the blocks registry name. Interesting. Well, let's still create a new one. Won't hurt anything. So, container only, no block. Put that in there. We'll take, and it shall equal whatever we want. Okay, so we'll call this lobby container, and it shall be called lobby container. Oh, and semicolon. And lobby container. Terminate. Yep, it's going to crash anyway if we didn't. So I'm going to do all of this. Now this one's going to be a little bit different. So this container create, it's got 3 parameters on it, right? Create. Boom, boom, boom. I think that's okay still. We will want the window ID. The inventory and the data are useless to us. We don't need to do the block position. And we will create not a town hall container, but a lobby container. The window ID, the position's not required. And the set register name to the container. So this is going to be a little bit challenging for me because typically we are creating a container on a block, and this one will not have a block at all. Okay, lobby container still airing off. I'm not sure why. Let's go into lobby container. Oh, we need to get rid of the block position. We also can't save block position because it doesn't have one. Can't save the tile entity. Can't get it from block position. I'm going to change this to lobby container. Perfect. Okay, I think that's it for the lobby container. We need to put it in here, but we need the screen first. So let's create the screen next. So we're going to go to the barrack screen, sure. Call it lobby screen. So this is actually drawing the stuff on the screen then. The other one's the server side of this. Lobby container. Creates a screen container, which calls the superclass, which is based off of a lobby container. This will be lobby. Actually, did we call it lobby? What did we call it? called a GUI, didn't I? Let's rename that. Lobby GUI. Don't need that position. This position's junk. All of this is irrelevant for us right now. We will add buttons to the screen, but not yet. Container. So let's look for, what was this based off of? This was based off of the barracks, so I can look for barrack. Okay, it's not in there anywhere. Let's look in the lobby container for, what was it, town hall? Nothing there. And then this, so one more check of this. Lobby container, lobby container, lobby container, lobby container. It's all lobby stuff. Okay, and then the proxy. Containers, lobby container, lobby screen. There we go. So now we need to have an event when a player has joined the game, but we also need some way of referencing what game mode that the game is in. So the life cycle of the game basically would be, it's starting, it's in the lobby, it's playing or running, and then it's game over. So let's create a structure to hold that, and an enum to hold that, and a variable to hold the current state of the game. I'm thinking the game state should probably be in the main class of the whole mod. So let's do that here, I guess. We'll just create the enum in here too. So public enum. We do static on it. I don't know, SDATIC, static enum. Doesn't look like it. What's it called? Game stage. Sure. Okay, be static. Okay, cool. That means we need starting, lobby. We'll put one called countdown. Lobby countdown, running, game over. Okay. So at any given time, the game, the RTS part of the game, can be in one of those states. Not state. I don't know why I call it stage. Okay, so now we need to have a. Let's not call that that. Let's call it like that. I think that'll still work. So this will be the public static game state of current game state. Okay, and it's going to default to game state dot starting. So that's like my startup kind of thing. In fact, let's rename it to startup. Oops, Control Shift or Alt Shift R and Eclipse startup. Okay, so that's just a state for a placeholder. It'll go into lobby as soon as the server is up and accepting connections is the idea. So let's look for that exact thing. I think I have a handler in here for restarting the server. On join world, on load. This is where we clear the player selections and everything. So TS RTS dot games, no, not that game state, game, current game state, there we go, equals game state dot lobby. Okay, then we need to look at our configs also. So config dot config game mode needs to equal something. The heck, where'd it go? Where did our line just go? There it is. Okay, Blue Boy, thanks for stopping by. If equals no, don't do that again. Config dot modes dot running. So if it's in running mode, then we will mess with this. Otherwise, we don't care. What's airing off here? That is a forge enum of modes. So why is it airing off? Incompatible operand types. Where else do we use it at then? Oh, .get. Okay. Sure. Come on. Okay, so we're in lobby mode. And then from there, we need to, in our entity join world, if it's an instance of a player, we do all that stuff, and then at the bottom we check to say if we are in the lobby mode, then player pe dot open container. I need to look how we open the GUI on the blocks. So on the block itself, we go where? Right block. Network hook open GUI, okay. And that is from the remote server, so the world is on the server. So pe.get world dot is remote. It is not remote. And then we can do this, and we are not going to is there another open GUI? Container supplier. It's one where you just know what the GUI is, or the container is. Probably not. They're all I-named container providers. Yay. I have watched Hermitcraft sometimes, but I don't watch it regularly. That's interesting. So an I container provider is just an interface that has this in it. Okay, so we can create a class that has one of those. I don't know what season it was, man. I don't watch it that close to pay attention to all that. I'll watch when there's something interesting going on the server, that's about it. So I need a class that extends or implements that. So we'll, in our container area, I guess, add another subclass, or another package, I guess. Contain providers. The minigame? What's that? What's that one? Lobby provider. Lobby container. This will implement that. That is one silly little method. Or two, I guess. Guess this one probably is the menu. Yeah. What's get menu do? Let's look at our tile entity for the lock of the barracks. Create menu creates the container. Okay. We do need to do that. Oop. And change this to lobby container with no world or position. And we will use player entity.world. Okay, and this is getting type registry name, registry path. So we'll just use the registry name of the from the reference. Dot mod ID plus reference dot container. Oh, that's cool. That's an interesting minigame. So basically it's like kind of like almost a zombies thing. So this will be a new lobby container provider, right? Layer is PE in this case, and TE.position, that's called on this, which opens the block, but also there's one with no block, so we can do that instead. So we will simply do that. Okay, why is this airing off .get? Right? No. Okay, man, have fun working on your game. RTS, yes, we want to save everything. So if this works, we're in run mode. It should go to lobby mode then, and lobby mode should then trigger the lobby GUI to pop up on my screen. And the idea here is we'll have a button handler somewhere, probably on that same lobby container piece, where it communicates back up to the server that someone clicked a button on it, right? Or something like that, I guess. And when the last person says start game or whatever, right, it will then trigger the mode to change and I guess let everyone out of the lobby. Let's see how that works. Not sure if the server knows when if somebody leaves a lobby, like leaves a GUI, or not. Wow, I got a GUI now. Cool. So the next thing we need to hook into to make this work so that it's graphically correct, right? So you can see the other players. And I can't test this fully on my own, but what I can do is connect to a server here and show an example of where I think I can get the information from, and that's the tab screen. So when I tab, it shows a list of every player on the server, not just players close by. So somehow, every client knows all of the players on the server. So we need to figure out where that's at in Minecraft, where that tab screen comes from, where that overlay comes from. Oh boy. These are the two hardest pieces, I think, of building this screen. What I just did, and also what I'm going to try and do next, which is a tab screen. So let's start from the rendering side of things, I think. The client piece. Renderer. Is there one for overlays? No. I'm not sure what they call that in the code, so it's going to be kind of hard to find. Chunk, debug, entity, model, texture, tile entity, vertex. None of that sounds like it. Not seeing any overlay stuff either. Is there something called player list? No. Okay, let's start going through these. Chunk. No. No. Entity layers. Okay, maybe. Might be getting closer. There's a player renderer. Let's go for layers. No. It could be under M's for multiplayer too, couldn't it? It's not looking like it. Monitor handler? If I can't get it quick here, I'm going to start looking for the word tab in the code. If we can find the button handling code and then figure out where that's called from. Let's do texture next. TNG, Stitcher, nope. Game render, maybe. Utable. It's not there. Doubt it's under data, but I'm going to take a peek. It had to be something under a reference under networking as well. Ping packet. So the ping is part of that rendering. So maybe we could look up a call hierarchy on this. Or not. Handle server info. My client network handler. Cool. That certainly wasn't it. I'm going work with Thin's BM, but I'm still listening. Okay, man. Well, I'm back because I have nothing better than to do. I hope my internet stops being laggy. Wow. I hope your internet stops being laggy too. Packet decoders. Legacy ping handler. Ooh, maybe. Knit channels. No. Not what we want. Channel read. Right and flush. State. Reaper, the AI got smarter today so far, and we're working on the GUI for the lobby right now. So when you first start up the game, it should show you a lobby screen. If I quit and restart this, you'll see it. It's just a blank screen right now, but it's just starting working on it. See, this will be our lobby. And we'll have a list of players on here, and you can select which team you want to go on. That's the idea. AI got smarter, that's what's going to take over the world someday. Yes, my minion AI shall take over the world. Don't you forget it. And search for the word tab. It's going to have millions of places probably because there's so many other words that contain the letters TAB. But hopefully we can narrow it down. JavaCom resources. That's my stuff. No, I want you to look at the Minecraft stuff, please. Is it something I have to download? Don't know, okay. Well, apparently it's not searching for the Minecraft code for some reason. Thought that it would. Try doing it this way. With that highlighted. No. Well, in the client code, there's going to be a handler for... What? LAN server ping thread? Hello? Player controller. Okay, Blue Boy. Message of the day. Okay, so that's actually finding the servers. Close. This player controller. Hey, Susie. We got this GUI displaying, Susie, but it doesn't show anything yet. Just a gray screen. I'm trying to find where in the Minecraft code it has the tab screen. I would prefer the rendering because that rendering shows the name and everything. But if I can find that, then I know where to look for that information, so I can list it out. Server name, server IP. So close. What about network? Play. Network player info? Could be. Player textures. Game profiles. So they've got a texture of your face on there, right? Yeah, that's my face. Get display name. Where are you getting called at? And the player tab overlay GUI. That's exactly what I was kind of thinking I was looking for. Finally. Where's get display name called? It's called in render, imagine that. And it is getting get display name for the network player info. And it's getting that from list, and list is coming from sorted copy of that. Which comes from that, which plays from that. Okay, so this piece I need down through here. And we will create our own GUI to do similar things, but better things. So we're already drawing the texture on the screen. Now we draw the text on the screen. We'll just hit save. What is ordering info coming from? It is a ordering network player, blah, 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 blah. I don't know enough about your game, man. What's your game about? Yeah, terminate, sure. It's not visible. Do we need the ordering piece? That's the question. It does give us our list. Player comparator. Oh, sorry, I wanted to go definition, not call hierarchy. Oh, it's just defined right in that class. Okay. But it's static. Static class on the client only. Huh? Why are you airing off at all? Is it? It's not visible. Oh, dang it. What's the game about? Like, for example, if you were to tell me the game is about stupid people, no, I would not want my name in there. Right? So just as a compare on them like that, I guess we could try and create our own type of thing to do this. Scoreboard player team. We don't care about teams. We don't care about sorting his stuff. I just want a list. Be in any order, I don't care. It's like 2D Minecraft with, oh yeah, that's right, you told me the other day. My skin, and in every level you defeat a mini boss named Video Destroyer. Also, you can collect web fluid and to place webs. Come on. Sure. So this ordering is ordering, which is a Java class. New ordering from either an ordering or a comparator. So it has a comparator as its creation. But we just want a list of all of the players, though, is all we're really after. So how is this getting its players? And its compare method is taking both of those. Really? Okay, so get player map info. That's probably what we actually want. It is a collection from player map info.values, which is a map of UUIDs to network player info. Network player info class has the game profile, have their name, get display name, they have get scoreboard name, get display set display name, baby sharp. Reaper's trying to do the baby shark song in chat and said baby sharp with 2 P's.
Fail.
Big fail. So I can get their display name, which is all we really care about, I guess. We don't have their team information, though. Or do we? Because that comparator was looking at teams. If I remember right, somewhere. My brain. So this fiery mom had a fail. Not very nice, Reaper. You better watch it. Takes the network player info and turns it into a get player team, which is a scoreboard player team, which is what we want. So this network player info class, which is the second half of this map, is all we need. Okay. Whew. Now I think I know what I need to do. Now we just need to do it. Get rid of this. They can get rid of this because we're only after this piece, which is a hash map. Right? Hash map? Why is MC? Okay, we gotta go back to that as well. This.mc is a Minecraft instance, so we can say Minecraft.getMinecraft there. Hash brown? What? Minecraft dot get Minecraft get instance dot get dot player. There we go. That should hook up like that. Cool. That's a hash map. Collection. It's already a collection. C equals that. And it is a type of what? Network player info. Gonna Import collection or something, or what? Can you add hash browns and McNuggets as main sources of food for this mod? No, there's no food. There is no need for food. Oh, actually, maybe we'll need food. I didn't even think about it. You're gonna be in a survival-like state, so maybe. Okay, let's name this list then. List. It's gonna be a different type of list, but that's fine. List, okay. And then we're gonna go get instance. No, this dot font render. Nope. We have to do it that way. Font render. This dot display name from the network player info, which that was on that other class. Or just constantly set their health to, or saturation full, if that's what you mean. That might be what you mean. That's probably what you mean. This dot get display name. Where is this at? If it's not null, then it gets the display name. If it, or it takes scoreboard player team format member name, gets the player team, and a new text component of the game profile. You know what? I think this is going to work in 99% of the cases, so we're just going to try that. Have an area that required to be filled with food, and they have to go there to fill their saturation. McDonald's would be called the location. Were you like typing upside down on your phone? Because that M is turned into a W somehow. Unless you meant McDonald's. That is our player. Okay, jeez. Dot get display name. Get scoreboard now. Get team. Get anything? I think my English has gotten worse. Yes, I meant McDonald's. Oh, it's an anime meme? Oh, okay. I did not snooze. I know we seen team just a second ago, but we'll come back to that. So get display name. Ta-da! Oh, that's just getting the width of the string. Really? I went to render something. Draw string, that string at... Actually, this string. And the X position, 0, the Y position, 0. The color is the color of all things that we draw, which is some crazy number I can never remember. I'm going to end that for loop and figure out what that color is, which is going to be in one of these other ones, I'm sure. Or nowhere. It's nowhere. Cool. So let's look at our other mod because it's in there. Can we try that number? I can try that number because I just need a number. The only thing is, if it's the wrong number, we can't see it because it's like invisible or some crap. Why are you airing off now? String, float, float, int. Not applicable for int, int, int. Why do you think those are those are floats, dude? That better? Oh, wait, maybe it wants a float? Is that it? 0F? That's probably it. No. The method draw string float float int is not float float int. Dot get string. Any new ideas for the map? Just wondering. No, I haven't got that far ahead. So, given the fact that our build world and our structures are pretty big, we need a lot of flat area. Because if it's not flat, you can't spawn it. My girlfriend is not... I'm not going to my girlfriend's this week. Uh-oh, she in trouble? Or are you in trouble? While that's loading, let's look up the other mod real quick while we can. All code. Minecraft. This. No, this. Sources, main, Java, com, project, Red Dog, machine mod, client, GUI. And something that has text on the screen. Assembly table, probably. And open another window. Looking for where I draw text to the screen. Spooderman. So I can get the right color code. Right there. That's the color code. I'm thinking 2 flat areas on opposite sides of the map. Maybe a deadband area in the middle with lots of connections and mountains around the whole thing surrounding it. Sure. Sounds cool. Like, seriously. It sounds cool. Right now I'm testing it. That's Spooderman. Testing what we just changed, which was adding the list of players. Cool. It works so well it crashed. If it's because of that line that draws the string, I'm going to be upset. It's because of that line. Reaper, your color crashed it. Actually, I have no idea. So if that is not null and that dot get display name is not null, then we should do this. Maybe halfway through the map, let's open it. Or wait, maybe have 2 caves that go underground connecting and having the material collection. Oh. Well, even the mine sites are sizable, right? So where you mine with is these size things. So if you do that, you need an area that's big enough to house these structures, right? So what is this? It's 7 by 7 footprint on the floor and 6 tall. So that's just for one mine site. I did, but I'm pretty sure that number didn't crash it. Oh, I didn't click run again, did I? The range, what do you mean? It's only gonna mine from one spot, if that's what you mean. It's not looking for multiple spots. And it really doesn't matter, because we just need to place it on the material, so you're placing it in a valid spot, basically. The placement of those is going to be a little bit wonky compared to everything else. We'll have to figure out how to handle that. because in that case you need to click on the material, the right block that you want it placed on. Everything else you click on the block in front of. Oh, I'll have to figure out how to handle that. Something to ponder, CZ. I'm almost inclined to just let them click on whatever. Okay, so is that code running? Like, okay, like some cave into a mountain and left open mine to the sky. Oh, okay, that's cool. Wife distracted me. What? So, hang on. Dang it. It's not working the way I thought. So that's null. The display name is null. Game profile is null. Why is everything null? Alright, so what I was going to say was, CZ, the structures when you place them down, right? You, for example, this one, would click where this structure block is, right? And that's where this thing spawns. So you're actually clicking at one block in front of where the structure will be. So when it comes to these mine sites, we're going to be clicking here, which is not in the bounds of that at all. So clicking here means this mine site could spawn over there. So if we have to click on the ore, it's then opened, I guess, turn around and click this way too. So you can put two mine sites on one ore deposit. Maybe that's okay. Maybe we'll call it a feature. Or should I have a special check that looks for ores out here when trying to place it? And most importantly, should we have a different item that we're using to try and place each of these different ones? Okay. Feature it is then. You have to click on the ore and it will spawn it just off of the ore, and the ore will be in front. And then you could place one over there as well. So, what about the other one? The item I use to spawn this in that you buy, should it be diamond specific? Or should it look at the ore we click on and then make it diamond specific? Or so basically said differently, do we want to buy a diamond mine or just a mine? That could be gold, diamond, or iron, or emerald, or whatever else, or stone. Either way can work. I just have to figure out what you clicked on and put the appropriate mine appearance there. Just buying a mine. Right, and in my code, these tilenity blocks that you're calling control points, these are all the same thing. They just look at the ore that's under them right now. We can instead look at the ore that's under their rally point. That'll work just the same. I'm leaning just to mine. What do you think, Fiery? You're still there.
I'm here. What were you talking about?
So when you buy a mine to mine diamonds, iron, gold, cobble, whatever, should it be one generic mine that you buy, and then what you place it on determines what type it is? Or should we have different mines that different mine items? So when you want to mine iron, you have to buy an iron mine from the town center.
I don't know. It depends on how far down the rabbit hole of tech tree you want to go.
Right. That's why as I was saying it to you, I realized the tech tree, right? Because if diamond gets unlocked later in the tech tree, then we may not want just a generic item.
For now, we could keep it a generic item just so we can play test. But
Sure.
if you're going to throw a tech tree in there, then Eventually, I would say make it a tech tree thing.
Okay. If you do make it so you buy a mine to a specific mine, have it so they look different, maybe different banner. They are different. They've got the block of whatever they are. Right, so the cobble one's got cobble, the iron one's got iron, etc.
Reaper, I swear to God, you're gonna be the first person I buy a dictionary for.
That sentence could have gone a little different. It could have been, "You're gonna be the first sentence I murder." First sentence I murder. First person.
Tech is in the second slot.
I caught it right away, at least. But the banner color, Reaper, is your team. So the red one will have that red banner. Here. So let me go over here. The red team's buildings will have this banner. The blue team's buildings will have this banner. The green teams will have this banner. And the yellow team will have that banner. So each one, like, this will be a building, and there'll be 4 of the variations of it, 1 for each team. And each of those 4 variations will have 3 different stages. So there'll be this complete stage, the half-destroyed stage, and the rubble stage. So this is the complete stage of this, the town hall. Over here is the town hall half-destroyed. And over here is the rubble version of it. It's a lot of building, to be honest. Okay, so this one's not null, but this is somehow? Okay, why? How can we have player info but no name? It has a UUID, but the game profile has a valid name. The heck? Game type. Skin type is null. Render textures loaded. Player textures loaded. False. Okay, we don't care about the player's textures, but the dev, it's right there. So let's look at that instead. Dot. It could be because I'm in single player too. It player what? Game player game profile. Okay, so this dot game profile. Dot name. Hey Reaper. You know you're playing with fire, right?
He knows. That's why the next time we play World of Tanks, you know, well, I can't. Dang it, that's right. They took out team damage. I was gonna say I'd play my KV2 and accidentally put a shell in the back of his head, but
Doesn't already still damage though?
nope.
Oh, I thought you said it did. Now the game profile is not null again? What the heck?
I think you can still stun your teammates with an artillery, but that's it.
Oh, okay.
And I think you can still push people off of ledges.
Just push him in the water. Drowning.
Oh, on that note, Reaper, they're backing off of it a little bit. Instead of cutting it by 2/3, they're only cutting it by like 1/3 now. So they're not going to be quite as useless, but they're still going to be a little useless.
So this is not null, and this is not null. The 2 pieces we're checking. but it doesn't.
Although, personally, I wish they wouldn't even do anything at all. Yeah. Also, no more penetration on high explosive shells at all. Yeah. Yeah, I seen the video today. Like, honestly, I hope they take his recommendation and just leave well enough alone.
Didn't save it.
I could see taking out the penetration aspect of it, you know, because it shouldn't be penetrating. It should just be exploding on the side of the tank.
Yay, we got the thing I was looking for.
Yeah, well, look at what that Type 5 Heavy does.
Okay, so now...
Yeah, we'll leave that one hidden.
What? Yeah, we can leave that one hidden. Should we time him out?
I don't know. He sounds like he wants to get put in his corner.
Okay, so there's the first name of the first player. Yay! And it is 9:30. That took way too long. But we're on our way. I guess I kind of need to get this onto this test server maybe sometime soon, or set up a test server within my environment and try and connect to it. That's probably the appropriate way to do it. And find these names of these characters that are connecting to that server and build out the rest of this, right? We need to get the teams. We need to get a way to select which team you're on or which team you choose, and go from there. So I'm gonna stop here for tonight because I've kind of ran out of time. We'll get there though, guys. Night, everybody. And if you haven't already, make sure that you
subscribe now.
Bye.